Alright, welcome back to our Timberborn Iron Tales playthrough. We're following one of our beaver haulers at this current point in time. 45 age Jin, looking pretty fabulous if I do say so myself. We got all these water beavers coming, collecting their daily ritual of water. So we just went through a 30-day bad drought, or a 30 bad drought, and it's all bad. There we go. Water's starting to flow. There it goes. Alright, so we had a slight problem last time around with the water flowing out this way, so we weren't able to collect enough to put into our reservoir. But now that we've kind of changed that, we are looking in a much better deal. We're just going to need this to kind of flow a little bit faster, get that going. Obviously that's going to now flow into here. I do have more robots going. We got about 19 of them. They're spread out in various areas of the map and doing various things. Most of them kind of congealed right in this area. So, but we do have them kind of all over the place, and because we're focusing on wood, or fairy logs as I like to call them, I did try to place them in these places first. We did end up coming over here and placing them in our new, what is it called? Canola farm area. This one being one, and then the other one being over here. But we didn't place any in... Do I have any? Yes, I do. Alright, and it covers the whole thing. Great. We will need to add those to that. Alright, so I didn't place any over here, but both of these farmers' huts are, and then I went around the map, and I'm not even sure what this does, but apparently it costs 3 whatever, and it's supposed to do something, so there's that. We are in the process of just coming back. We need to fill up our water containers to the appropriate level. That's going to take a minute, especially since everything was pretty much deserted and kind of left for dead, in a manner of speaking. So as everything kind of fills up here, that's kind of what we're looking at this current point in time, is basically just filling up all the reservoirs again so that we can continue our beaver functioning ways. They did end up building this, and then we had to go in, or I had to go into like ER mode and blow this up and get this to where it looks like this again, or this now, because before it was basically flowing over the top of this. And I wasn't really aware that they actually built all of this, so that came as a bit of a surprise. It didn't do a whole lot of damage. It just kind of came up here a little bit, and then it was flowing over here, and then, but it wasn't flowing out this way yet. So came in there, got the wheels a turning again, so that was good. And then we ended up, I think we ended up building this and finishing this, but then we came in and I added this, but it was a little bit too late. So we did have some problems losing a little bit of water in that sense of the term. But now that we're back on track, these can come back in. We're getting water back in here. Everything's coming to life. We're looking like we are doing a great job. So with that being said, I want to come in here and start kind of maybe replacing a few of these. We got the beavers, and we might as well. That way our beavers can kind of focus on other things. Robots weren't necessarily the most important thing in this, but they did end up kind of helping out in a sense. So that was great news. I did enjoy those. I do like the Iron Teeth for all that they have to offer. They are very much very different than the Folktale faction. They're more industrial based, which is, I mean, all intents and purposes is nice. I did learn a couple of things about blocks, so we can do platforms. Where are they? We can do this kind of stuff, and then leave like an underhang area to like basically travel in. That part I wasn't necessarily aware of, but I'm glad that we did figure it out now. So future builds and whatnot will definitely... Oh, I totally blocked. Oh no, it isn't. I thought I blocked this area off, but it still has a little bit of water to get to right through here, so we're good there. That would have kind of sucked, in all honesty, if that happened. But we are at the point of saying arrivederci and goodbye to this map. I feel like, in all honesty, I've pretty much conquered it. We have very little that we struggle with on a daily basis now. Even with most of this water going away, we dropped 3,000 water, which, in all honesty, is not a bad... how do I get energy to you? Where are you? All right, you're right there. How do we get energy to you? Need to know these answers. I honestly have no idea. I have no idea how we get energy to you. That kind of sucks. So, in all honesty, kind of what I'm waiting for is I would like to see if our actual build works. If this actually will help us divert bad water and get it going out this way, keeping all this clean and not overflowing from that. So we would have 2 points of exit, being one right here, and then hopefully that helps on the return of all this stuff, all the good water coming into the map. But yeah, I do like their industry. I do really enjoy the... Oh, we can kick that into high speed now. I really enjoy the batteries or the engines. I do wish that those were in the other beavers, the folktales, because I feel like using them in this with just these beavers is kind of a little bit cheating, because in all honesty, we're able to survive on this power, but when we have these engines going, like we could, like, even throughout the drought, we didn't drop below this. I think our lowest point in the drought was maybe 2.8, and that didn't last long. Most of these trees are still growing where we have no place to put trees. So in that sense, I feel like we're kind of just like over OP'd on those, which, I mean, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Oh, and then I did come and put a couple of beavers, or robot beavers, in the hydroponic gardens, just to, I guess, help with that. In all honesty, I'm just kind of trying to figure out places to put them. I should probably try to put them in the mined area, but getting enough of those beavers, or getting enough beavers to do that, is kind of insane in a sense. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We got all the monuments. We got this guy. Do we have all the monuments? All right, so we have the Earth Repopulator. What is this one? We have that guy. Do we have the fire one? I think the fire one's over here. Yep, the fire one's there. And then I think we have this monument somewhere. Yep, right there. Alright, so we now have all 4 monuments. I mean, it wasn't as high as the folktales, but I mean, that's still pretty high. As far as a happiness rating goes. Can't make everybody happy, but I mean, you can do what you gotta do. We never used a gravity battery, and like I said, it kind of seemed a little pointless because the gravity batteries aren't going to do as good a job as these. And as long as we have enough trees to supply our means to build all of this junk, then it doesn't really matter what we got. And then we're able to even supply wood power over here to these power batteries and along with these. So that ended up digging a giant hole. So we had very huge success once we got the lowdown on the batteries. And we are doing a very excellent job. Just wanted to make sure it was filling up in here. So we're definitely moving along. I like I mean, it kind of sucks as far as the video content goes that we're waiting so long for a bad tide to come in, but then again, we've had a 30-day bad water drought and then a 30-day oh geez, we've had a 30-day bad water and then a 30-day drought. So the fact that we had all of those just kind of signifies that the game's probably going to give us a little bit of time to reset. Even though we don't need all of that time to reset, it's still going to give it to us, which, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, and it definitely is going to help us reset. That's for sure, even though we don't technically need it, because, like, look at all the food we got. We got 19,000 things worth of food, and then 11,000 worth of materials to remake what we're having this department. So, that all being said, I feel like I can confidently say that we did conquer this map, and if you do remember, it did start with all this being completely open. When bad water came in, we lost it on this side, so we ended up having these little pockets right here that stayed the longevity of the playthrough. And these pumps never went away. We did delete some of them and make them just these bigger ones, so like, I mean, there is that. We did end up building a tower or whatever to come out through here. We end up having the adult pod, so we're able to do that, which now we're back up to 30 beavers, not having work to do. Ooh, we got 3 days for a bad tide, so this is going to be exciting. We're about to see if all of our hard work has paid off and all the ideas that we had going for us paid off, and I mean, that can be exciting. But I do like the fact that we built this and we turned this little cave area into something useful, because I mean, what else were we going to do with it? And we stopped the bad water from flowing there. I ended up making the choice to turn this on just so that we could get some power to these wheels, which 5, in all honesty, seems to be doing the trick, because last time we checked, we're at 10,000. So the fact that we have that much power going, just, yeah, it makes sense. So we have a lot of power going. We're never short on power. Pretty much the longevity of this, there's a couple of times in the beginning before we got the power wheels that during droughts and stuff like that, all this came to a complete halt, which was, I mean, you know, it kind of sucks. It is what it is, but we overcame that, obviously got the power wheels, and then started to multiply our engine department. We did end up recreating this a couple of times just to make pathways and all the other stuff, but I like the kind of the Louisiana feel that we adopted onto this, because it was a this is a river, so all of this flowing all the way up here is a river, and you can't even tell that there's a river there because of all the crud that we have built. So all of this is on top of the river, which to me is just, it's amazing. Amazing that we got that much. It's awesome that we have all this water that's filling up in here. And I don't know how these are still open. Can it not fill up that tall? I mean, if it could go 1 cube taller, we would probably get closed. But yeah, this is more than enough. We should be able to, in the next 2 days, fill up to 15. We're just missing are we missing 14? We have less than that. We have 13.8. We got a long way to go. We got still about 2,000. I think it's 1,600 gallons worth of water to fill up on. We got building flooding. Oh, that's so not good. Alright, well hopefully that'll dry out. So this is where we keep the oil, or whatever this is made. Grease factory. So grease comes in. I think these are the recharging ports. Charging stations. Yes. So we have beavers come in here. They get whatever energy that they need. And yeah, they recharge and they get going. So, and then we also have all that connected to our batteries and whatnot. And see, even then we're still running about half capacity of what power we need, even with all of this being active. So we did a pretty good job, I'm not gonna lie. My only thing is I want to see how well this stands up, because if this stands up, then we are in a wonderful place. Because yeah, we have all this water, we have everything connected. This connects into this, which gives these pumps a chance to pump water, and then it also flows under here, our little land bridge that we got going on, and then we're able to pump over here as well. This land bridge, probably not the best of work. I didn't know. Maybe next time we try basically putting it one down so the water would meet right here. Because when we go through a bad tide or a drought or whatever, and it's a long enough one, this is the part that ends up struggling a little bit. And I know that we connected this up to like help with that, and that makes sense to me, but it does seem to still kind of have points of problem. So with that, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Maybe next time try to go one down. And the same with this one as well, this little oak land bridge that we got going on, because I think that in the long run that would definitely help everything else out. And I think that was kind of something that we are ending up struggling with. I love how this looks. Like if we could, that'd be a perfect place to like set up like a fishing barge. You know, just kind of like you got this little piece of water right here you're able to fish from. Yeah, looks nice. Oh, and you might even get a little bit of flooding going, which I mean you can't really be too upset with. But for the most part, we're able to keep water in here. This is nice and full, which is what we wanted to be in the end. And we did end up adding, obviously, to our oak forest, and which is pretty amazing because in the end we never really had to do anything to our water supply. It took us a minute to actually get water up here, but once this filled up, we never really had an issue with keeping this green. And I am glad that we moved our village people over here. That seemed to be probably one of the smarter ideas. And I'm just gonna go in here. Okay, that turned off. That turned off. Let's see how well this works out. And I'm okay with like keeping that as like open as humanly possible, just trying to get that to flood out. And then this shouldn't really have too much problems keeping up with that. And let's kind of 19-day. Oh, I need to go up one. And that should actually do us pretty nicely as far as like getting everything out. Because now we have this point, which we're able to keep this going. This adds more flow to here. I mean, that should do us nicely, I think. And this is able to keep up with it. Kind of. Maybe. It hasn't had to... we can probably close that. Just to kind of help with the, the flow that we're putting off here, because this is probably a lot, considering... That's probably another thing that I wish we did is, took a little bit of time to kind of maybe piece this together just a little bit, because we do end up having a problem, especially with this chamber, once this goes from good tide to bad tide. But in all honesty, you can't really fault it too terribly much, because I mean, it still does what it needs to do. But yeah, that's looking like that's going to be a job well done right there. It's able to handle the flow, helps with this one, so now instead of everything getting caught in the middle, yeah, that'll work out nicely. And we're still able to obviously draw power off of this. And I do want you guys to know that this is ready to launch. They finished it in the last bad tide, so we're pretty much ready to call it, you know, quits whenever we're ready. And it's not even quits. We definitely conquered this map, and whoever made this map, out of 5 stars, I'll give you 3. It was definitely creative. I like the galaxy spiral look of it. My only, I guess, bugaboo is how jagged this was, and how many trees were ended up planted all around this thing, making it kind of exceeding difficult, yes, but not like difficult, oh, this was a fun difficult. Like, it was kind of like a, you kid, like, we gotta do this again type of thing. And I mean that with the most respect, obviously. I had fun on the map, I did. So, but I don't think it was, you know, the best map ever, if that makes any sense. I want to be respectful. They did a good job. They did more than what I could ever do. So, and then also, that being said, it kind of made it easy for metal, because we got the 2 platforms in there. We got the one over there. I want to say the metal that was over here, this metal, and then I want to say there's metal right here. That was pretty much, I think, all the ruins you needed to put. Or if you wanted to consolidate all the 4 into one big one, because once we unlocked these, we were drawing more out of those than we were drawing out of these, and we were doing this one faster than the actual ruins themselves. So, oh my word. Why is that so high? Holy cow. Dang. That is crazy. Alright, well, we kind of lost a few. Let's turn these back on to kind of get some of that water pumping. That was very unexpected. I mean, this has kind of helped slow the trajectory of it down, but good lord, look at all of that. That is excessive. And like I said, I get that this is 4 of them flowing out through here, but that is Yowcha mama. Oh, we gotta go down just a little bit. Alright, so we're gonna leave that 2-4 to kind of help. Maybe 2-3. I want it to be a nice, slow, subtle flow. Like we can hold, we can hold a little bit more, but we have to get it to where the point where, let's try 2-2. Oh, don't do that. Let's close that up. Let's let that kind of fix itself. Alright, so we have to get it to a flowing rate. Which is probably... Like I said, I'm just like, we gotta fine tune this, and obviously I don't know what's what, so this is the first time we've ever gone through this, but I want it to build up a little bit. But we're probably looking at like 9.5. Let's what if we keep it at 1? Nope. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to put it at 9.5. And then at least that helps the flow a little bit, and hopefully we don't see too big of a rising tide, and that'll like slow the flow. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Is if we can slow the flow, then we're in a better spot. And then obviously if we need to, if it gets too high, we can completely pause it and it will just fill this little area up and we'll be right as rain. But I think that's gonna be all right, because I mean these water wheels should be helping push the fluid. Should. Oh, we got a little bit of bad contamination in there. You can kind of see it, but I mean, I don't know what else you can do about that. Alright, well, so much for like, no problem on the last episode, so there's your little bit of drama. And I think that's going to cover it. We'll make this one a short one. Just kind of wanted to go over the map. Not a like. I mean, I would. If you're asking my advice, should you play this map? Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It was a fun map. You guys could probably do a lot better than what I did. I'm a very jagged builder, still learning kind of the fundamentals of everything. I'd consider myself a pretty decent player at this game, but obviously still learning, you know, some new techniques and what have yous. Probably need to figure out this energy crisis, but oh well. Let's get this going and let's see what this is about. You ready? In 3, 2, 1, boom. Whoa. And I'm assuming it sends these beavers way out left into new territories to claim. Probably get one of them coming into a new area for us, and there we did it. Days passed, 1200 beavers born, almost 3000. Water consumed, we had 378,000. Tails painted, 8,000. Trees cut, 177,000. Broken teeth, 299. Bullets manufactured, 36. Wasn't really dedicated to that part, but and then we had dynamite detonated, almost 5,000. And you can kind of see this is the general picture of the map and what it looked like before. Obviously, this was the water that flows in from the tunnel area. So we were able to stop that, build along this area, stop this one, and then obviously we did some reconstruction. So yeah, we beat it, and we beat it in 12 what was that, 1,000 days basically. So yeah, if you guys like what you saw, please hit that a thumbs up button. Like I said, we'll keep this episode a little short. I'll save you guys your time and all that other stuff, but I do appreciate you guys sticking with me through this whole thing. You guys seem to enjoy the metal tales more than the folk tales. I personally enjoy the folk tales. That's just, it's kind of always been my faction, but it's nice to know that I claim defeat with my second going of the Iron Tales. So the first going did not work out well for us at all. So that being said, I enjoyed it. Stay tuned. I will be picking a different map. I'll probably let this one go and see if you guys have any suggestions. If you have any suggestions, put them in the comments. I will look at the map. I'm not looking at standard maps that come with the game. I'm looking at what you guys have done and seeing if we can beat that map. And to me, beating the map is putting making it to where we can build all 4 of these. Obviously the last one's going to be the hardest one. So yeah, if you guys have any map ideas that you've played or thought about playing, or maybe seen someone else playing, put it in the comments. I'll look the map up, and we will continue our map challenge of seeing if we can beat the maps you guys make. So thumbs up, maybe think about subscribing, and definitely leave a comment, and I will see you guys next time. Later.